Hello fellow cineenthusiasts, my name is Christina and welcome to another Let's Get Reels movie review. Today is Classic Movie Thursdays, my version of Throwback Thursdays. Today's movie is the film noir Laura from 1944. Laura is considered the quintessential film noir, and I consider it one of my favorite movies of all time. The film begins with the murder of Laura Hunt, played by Gene Tierney, who has been murdered in her apartment by a shotgun blast to the face. The murder is being investigated by a detective named Mark McPherson, played by Dana Andrews. He's a tough guy who is very observant of his surroundings. Mark interviews three key suspects: Laura's fiancé, Shelby Carpenter, played by Vincent Price, her mentor, Waldo Lydecker, played by Clifton Webb, and her aunt, Anne Treadwell, played by Judith Anderson. Waldo is the snobbish, conniving older man who made Laura into the sophisticated woman she was. Shelby is a playboy who uses women for their money and their social standings. And Anne is the woman that Shelby began using behind Laura's back. Mark lets everyone tell their side of Laura's story and how well they knew her. The more Mark learns about Laura and the more he stares at her portrait above the fireplace in her apartment, the more enamored he becomes of her. One night, while again going through and searching her apartment, he falls asleep. As Mark is sleeping, someone comes into the apartment, and that someone just so happens to be Laura herself in the flesh. Laura is not dead. She was just away for the weekend and didn't tell anybody that she'd be away. She didn't have a radio, and she didn't have newspaper, so she had no idea that she was actually supposed to be dead. Laura sees this strange man in her house, and she says that she's going to call the police, and he tells her that he is the police and shows her his badge. Laura tells Mark that the person who was murdered is a girl that she used to work with named Diane Redfern, and that she was letting Diane stay in her apartment for that weekend. With Laura's help, Mark now has to find out who killed Diane Redfern and who wanted Laura dead. Laura is an absolutely gorgeous film. The black and white cinematography is stunning, especially in a scene where Mark takes Laura down to the police station to interrogate her. Gene Tierney is stunning in both looks and acting. She was perfect for the role of Laura because you can believe that these men would be falling for her so hard, and that she is an independent, hardworking woman. Dana Andrews is also perfect and believable as Mark McPherson, who's this hard-boiled yet romantic detective. Vincent Price as Shelby Carpenter is supposed to be a damsel in distress, and he looks so funny as this damsel in distress of a man, and he's kind of a big baby. And it's such a departure for him from what I'm used to seeing of him in his later horror films and as the creepy voice from the Thriller song by Michael Jackson. I still can't get over Judith Anderson in this movie. She will always be the creepy, dark, stalking, unmoving Mrs. Danvers from the movie Rebecca. Laura is based off a book of the same title by Vericus Berry. I've read the book twice, and the movie keeps much of the narrative and the characters and even the lines from the book. But I think the film actually makes sense of the chaos from the book. It actually makes everything a little bit better. It makes the characters much more likable, because none of the characters are very likable in the book, including Laura. But obviously, for the big screen, they had to make the characters likable in order for you to connect to them. Laura is such a great classic film. I could literally watch this movie at least once a week. It is considered the quintessential noir, and for good reasons, because it is a great story that deals with the sinister side of love and jealousy. If you haven't seen Laura yet, I highly suggest going and finding it and watching it however you can. Thank you for watching my review of Laura. If you liked my review of Laura in any way, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below so we can discuss this further, and subscribe to Let's Get Reels right there for future movie reviews and more Classic Movie Thursdays. As always, keep watching movies and stay absolutely fabulous.